Hello class, welcome to today's lesson. This is chapter 3, lesson 3. So we're talking about the middle colonies. And that gives us New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. So that's what we're going to learn all about today. Here we can see them on the map. There's New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey right down there, and then Delaware down there on the bottom. So let's talk about New York and New Jersey first. So we begin in the colonies, and you have the New England colonies. We talked about last lesson. We also have settlers down in Virginia. In between those colonies, we have a huge block of land that would basically become the states of New York and New Jersey, and this land was owned by the Dutch. They called it New Netherland. The main settlement was New Amsterdam on Manhattan Island, which is, a part of New York City. New Amsterdam actually became the major center of shipping in the colonies as a result of its prime location on the sea and by the Hudson River. Now, New Amsterdam was run by the Dutch West India Company. The Dutch West India Company wanted to increase the population, so they started offering tracts of land to anyone that could bring 50 settlers to work the land. The men that took up this offer were called patroons. They were kings of their own little kingdom, essentially, making their own laws and taking a share of the settlers' crops and labor. Here we have a map of original old New Amsterdam down here. So New Amsterdam was doing pretty well, a little too well, in fact. England insisted they actually own that land, so they sent a fleet to take the colony in 1664. The governor of the colony just surrendered without a fight. The King of Britain, at the time, King Charles, gave the colony to his brother, the Duke of York, and the colony became, well, New York. Not very creative, is it? New York was a proprietary colony, meaning that the owner, this being the Duke of York, owned all the land and controlled the government. The good people of New York were not allowed to elect their own legislature until 1691. New York continued to thrive under British control. It grew and became one of the fastest growing places in the colonies. It was a diverse place with Dutch, Germans, Swedish folk, and Jewish folk. The Duke of York decided to split his land and give a big chunk to two proprietors named Lord John Berkeley and Sir George Carteret. They named it New Jersey. New Jersey didn't have any Great Bay, so no major seaports developed. They tried to attract settlers by offering freedom of religion, trial by jury, representative government, and, large tracts of land. The colony had a diverse population like New York, but the proprietors did not make much of a profit. By 1702, New Jersey was a royal colony, which means it was under the control of the king. That leads us to Pennsylvania and Delaware. Here's a picture of William Penn looking very stately. Pennsylvania, or Penn's Woods, was founded by none other than, William Penn. William Penn was a Quaker, which was a sect of Protestants from England, and they were, like people that were different at the time, persecuted. Quakers were considered a bit odd. They were pacifists, meaning that they did not believe in violence. They wouldn't fight for any reason. It all started because King Charles owned Penn's dad a great deal of money. So he gave Penn this giant tract of land in the New World. Penn used this opportunity to conduct a holy experiment. Penn would create a colony based on Quaker ideals. Other than being pacifists, Quakers also believed that everyone was equal, to follow your own inner light, so they didn't have like reverends or priests or religious sort of leaders, because they thought you should follow your own inner light. They even had this crazy idea to pay the Native Americans for their land. Crazy. Penn was also an active proprietor, meaning he was involved in the colony. He just didn't sit over in England and write letters about what to do. He designed the city of Philadelphia and even traveled there in 1682 to oversee construction. He wrote Pennsylvania's first constitution and advertised in Europe for settlers. Pennsylvania attracted people from all over Europe. In 1701, Penn wrote the Charter of Privileges, basically granting the right to elect representatives in the legislature. Philadelphia, or the City of Brotherly Love, soon became America's most prosperous city. So how about that? Here, look how ordered and neat it is. It's much different than Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's a big jumble. You can tell this city was planned because it's nice and organized. There were a lot of Swedish folk living in a part of Pennsylvania before the Dutch and then the English gained control. Penn was a nice guy and let them have their own legislature, and this would become what became the colony of Delaware. They made their own laws, but were technically under the authority of the Pennsylvania governor, so sort of the start of their own thing. And here we have our map of the middle colonies. We said New York and New Jersey was one big colony, and then it split. And then Pennsylvania and Delaware was one big colony, and then they split. So let's move on to our assignment. Okay, this is going to be a fun one for you artsy folk, you creative folk. So, pretend you are William Penn, and you're trying to recruit settlers to move to your new colony, Pennsylvania. Create a poster to attract settlers to Pennsylvania. So you can do this a number of ways. You can do it the old-fashioned way by making a poster physically and drawing on it and putting pictures on it and writing on it, and then you take a picture like a digital camera and then upload that picture. Or you can do it on a computer program and upload it. Either way, you can upload the picture or you can upload the computer document itself, regardless of how you choose to do it. And you can use, you can be creative, and if you know how to use some programs that I'm not aware of, that's fine as long as I can view it. So if we have any problems, I'll contact you. Otherwise, your poster should contain these 3 things. You need at least 1 picture. That's 3 points. At least 3 good reasons to move to the colony, because you're not going to say, move to Pennsylvania, and that's the end of the poster. You say why. So that's 3 points, and it should be neat, legible, and free of spelling and grammar errors. So that's sort of well organized, and so I can read it, and that's 3 points. Here's a really simple example that I made real quickly. There we go, you can see it here. It just says, come to Pennsylvania. In the glorious colony of Pennsylvania, we have the most prosperous city in the colonies, Philadelphia. That's one good reason to move there. You have the right to elect representatives. There's another good reason. And then in Pennsylvania, everyone is equal. 3 good reasons. Come live the good life. I have my picture. So even though this is a more simple version, it has everything that I requested. So this would be 9 out of 9 points for Mr. Yund. And then that's it for the day. So 9-point assignment. You have the opportunity to be a little more creative. If you have any questions, let me know. If I receive your assignment and I can't open it for some reason, I'll shoot you a message and you have an opportunity to fix that. No big deal. It happens all the time. Alright, hey, if you need anything, please contact me. Let me know. We'll get it worked out and have a wonderful day.